Sideburns are decent. Okay, I'm ready for this video, I think. Welcome back, class. This week we are going to be studying the battles of Lexington and Concord. We're also going to look at the Midnight Ride of Paul Revere. You can learn more about this in your MyWorld history textbook on pages 64 and 75. We're going to look today at pages 68 to 70. So go ahead and get out your textbook. Let's begin. We've been learning in the last few lessons how the American colonists were getting increasingly agitated, frustrated, and angered by the British taxation policies put in place, such as with the Stamp Act and the Sugar Act and the Tea Act. The response of the colonists was at first to do boycotts, petitions, but then we really see the colonists ratchet up their opposition with tarring and feathering of customs officials. We see their response in provoking the Boston Massacre and in the stunt organized by the Sons of Liberty, which we call the Boston Tea Party. Fundamentally, the colonists were upset because they believed that this taxation was unfair given the fact that they did not have a representative voice in Parliament, hence their slogan, "No taxation without representation." So in Massachusetts, a group of colonists and farmers, referring to themselves as the Minutemen, began to prepare and ready themselves for war, which they believed could come at any minute, hence the Minutemen. In addition to training and preparing themselves for battle, they also began to store ammunitions and weapons in various places in the colonies. One such place was in Concord. Early in 1775, General Gage got reports that the colonists were storing these weapons. So on April 18, 1775, General Gage sent 700 British troops to Concord to seize the stored weapons and to arrest any of the resistance leaders. However, the Sons of Liberty were watching. As General Gage's troops made their way under the cover of night, the Sons of Liberty hung 2 lamps in the Old North Church in Boston to warn the community, to warn the militias that the redcoats, that the British troops were coming, and that they were going to come by way of crossing the Charles River. Messengers, to include the Boston silversmith Paul Revere, famous for the Boston Massacre engraving, rode out to Lexington and to Concord to warn the community and to warn the militias that the redcoats were coming, that the regulars were coming. Paul Revere rode out accompanied by a man named William Dawes. The 2 of them were arrested just outside of Lexington by British troops, and they were thrown into jail. So Samuel Prescott, another messenger, finished the ride out to Concord, warning them that the British regulars were on their way. On the morning of April 19, 1775, 700 British troops made their way into Lexington, where they were confronted by 70 Minutemen. In the standoff, the British troops ordered the colonists to return home. Some of them followed the orders and made their way home. However, a shot rang out. Now, no one knows from which side the shot was fired. Nonetheless, that shot has become known as the shot heard round the world. In that initial firefight, 8 colonists were killed and they retreated. However, the Minutemen confronted the British again just outside of Concord. Only this time the Minutemen had grown to 300. And they were able to outmaneuver the British troops because they knew the terrain. They were more familiar with their surroundings. As the British retreated, the self-taught Minutemen fired at the retreating British forces. Some of them were sharpshooters and took out quite a few. Women, the ladies, they were even firing their rifles from the windows of their homes. By the end of that day, 73 British troops were killed by the Minutemen, and another 200 were either wounded or missing. This was a surprise victory for the Minutemen, for the colonists, and a stunning defeat for the British troops. The battles of Lexington and Concord marked the beginning of the Revolutionary War, and it also gave hope to this ragtag collection of colonists, farmers, that they could in fact defeat the British Empire and gain for themselves independence and self-determination. All right, class, I hope you learned a lot from this video. We will continue to learn about the American Revolution in the coming weeks. And spoiler, how it was that the American colonies won independence. All right, thank you so much for joining me. Tighten up, y'all. Be cool, stay in school, even though it's on Zoom. Deuces. What do you guys say when you're leaving? What's the cool thing? Bye? Bye?